I hope you're enjoying these videos and getting some useful information. But if you would like the full, complete program on how we actually permanently fix any kind of body dysfunctions or body aches and pains, then please go to correctivemechanics.com and download your free ebook where we explain the entire process and how it works. We also have a body and balance membership-based program that allows you to use all of our videos, all of our images and examples and walk you through step by step on fixing your specific ailments and imbalances. Hi everyone, Brian Meadows here from CorrectiveMechanics.com. I want to welcome you to my two-part series on elbow pain, also known as epicondylitis. In this two-part series, I'm going to go through describing what the two most common elbow pain issues are and what you can do to identify them, why they're causing you pain, and what you can do to help alleviate that pain and reduce the inflammation that's been caused. Contraindications are your elbow is hot, inflamed, and you're having a fever. You can't bend your elbow at all. Your elbow looks deformed, or you suspect that you have a broken bone. If any of these are there and present, then you should seek care immediately. If you don't have these contraindications, try these techniques in this program, as they can help you out and alleviate that pain and get you back to normal. But if after trying these techniques for a good day after day for at least a week and not seeing any improvement, in fact, it's just as bad as it was the first day, then please go seek out care with a medical physician. In this segment of our two-part series, we're talking about medial epicondylitis, also known as golfer's elbow. And what that is when you incur some pain on the medial side of your arm, so that's the inside portion of your arm, just above that bony portion of the elbow on the inside here. You can totally feel that bone right there. And what that is occurring is you've got several muscles coming across your forearm that are attaching to the top portion of that bony portion of your elbow. And those have become inflamed because of some overuse or poor form in doing some activities. But at any rate, it's attaching there. And so those muscles have been overworked, and also that tendon is now inflamed and is causing you some of that pain. So how does it get inflamed? What did we do to ourselves to cause that? Well, that, like I said, it could be poor form, like if you're doing some curls and you're also curling your wrists at the same time. When doing that, you're flexing your forearm muscles, and these forearm muscles are really about moving your wrist and your fingers. So when you are incorporating that, especially when you're doing heavy weight, because there's a lot of tension there, and maybe your grip isn't as strong as it should be, so you're pulling it up and you got a lot of force going on here. That's putting a lot of strain on that tendon coming across your forearm and attaching to that part. But it also could occur if you have an occupation that requires a lot of repetitive movement. You're a plumber, you're a construction person, a lot of hammering or a lot of cranking with tools. Even painters can have some problems as well. Just about anybody can occur this in an occupation that has a lot of movement and repetitiveness with their arms. Likewise in sports, a lot of racket type sports, but also a lot of throwing sports of baseball, softball, football, javelin, even shooting bow and arrow can actually cause a lot of this as well. So there's a lot of things that could do this. And a lot of it is because we don't have really good enough grip strength either. We haven't really been focusing on our forearms and building that strength. And so that our grip is kind of weak, and there's a lot of resistance in holding on to something that is probably a little bit too heavy for what we're trying to do. So that'll also cause a lot of that strain and stress on those muscles and tendon coming across the forearm there. A few muscles, the flexor carpi radialis, the flexor carpi ulnaris, and the palmaris longus are a few muscles to name. There's actually 16 muscles that go across the elbow joint. So whether they're coming from the bicep and the tricep across, a majority of those muscles are actually coming up across your forearm and across those elbows. But in this portion, there's probably 4 or 5 muscles that come and attach at this same point, right across that bony portion. So those are 3 very common muscles involved in being inflamed and causing this pain of golfer's elbow. So what can we do to alleviate that inflammation and that pain? Well, plenty of rest, let it heal. It's going to take time. It's inflamed, it's been damaged. There might even be some micro tears. So giving it some time to repair itself is necessary. Some immediate things you can do are to put ice on it. So ice will help bring down some of that inflammation. Cold helps with inflammation. And then shortly after that, you can use some compression on there. Now, the compression in golfer's elbow, if you could think of it, is to, like we were talking about, muscles coming across from the outer side across and then over the top and then attaching to that top of that bony part, is to put a lot of pressure, put some pressure across those muscles and where the tendon meets, which is just below the elbow. But you can also put your thumb right on top of that bony portion and put some pressure there. Again, what that's going to do is send a signal to tell your muscles and tendons to relax and release, that it's okay. You don't need to keep spasming or being tense because of that injury. We want it to relax. But certainly the first thing, rest, ice, and then compression. So ice and then compression. And then after that, back to the rest, is give it plenty of time to heal. Hey, if you like this video, do me a favor and put a comment down below and even subscribe or hit that like button. And if you subscribe, hit the alert bell so you don't miss another video that I put out. But even more so, I'd appreciate it if you go to correctivemechanics.com and check out some other videos and tips and tricks that we have. And I also have available for you a free ebook that shows how the whole process of corrective exercise works and in what procedures and steps that we use in what order. But until next time, take care.